They say the smell of fresh baked pies still lingers near the edge of the forest, where the birch trees grow too close together and the wind doesn't quite move right. No one goes there anymore. The ground is too soft. The birds don't sing. But if you stand very still, you can almost hear the faint creak of an old rocking chair and the rustle of a woman's apron in the dark. Her name was never spoken. Not really. The children in the village called her Baba Groza, Grandmother Thunder, though no one knew where the name came from. Some said she'd always been there, that the forest grew around her cottage the way shadows grow around bones. Others said she came after the war, when there were too many orphans and not enough graves. She wore a scarf, always red. Her hands were cracked like dry soil, and her eyes looked like they had forgotten how to blink. She moved slowly, like a story being remembered. People said she was harmless, just old, just lonely. She sold pies, sweet ones, savory, mad pies that melted on the tongue. No one asked what kind of meat. They just ate. Every Sunday, a basket of warm pastries would appear at the edge of the market square. No one saw her leave them, but they were always there, steaming, golden, and wrapped in linen stitched with strange symbols no one could read. The pies were delicious, addictive even. Children especially loved them. And that's where the real story begins. Because every few weeks, a child would disappear, quietly. Without a sound, no struggle, no trace. One moment there, the next, gone like a breath in cold air. The village mourned, of course. Prayers were said, candles lit. But nothing ever came of it. The forest swallowed every search party whole. Tracks faded, blood never dried. Eventually, people just stopped looking. And yet the pies kept coming. Richer, fuller. The flavor, some said, got even better after each disappearance. But it was the old man who knew first. A hunter Tore, lame in one leg, half blind in one eye. He'd lost a granddaughter the previous winter. Her name was Mila, a soft golden child who laughed with her whole chest. After her vanishing, the old man stopped speaking, stopped eating, except once he took a bite of a pie. Just one, and then he screamed. He claimed he saw her, Mila's eye, just one, and buckled into the crust like a pale pearl. No one believed him. Grief, they said. Madness. But he went into the woods that night, alone, and he never came back. A week later, a new batch of pies appeared. Bigger, bloodier, touchy. They say the crust was darker that day. Still, the villagers did nothing. Fear tastes a lot like denial when it's served warm and flaky. Years passed. Children grew up, but fewer and fewer each season. The school closed. Laughter faded. Even the dogs stopped barking. But every Sunday, without fail, the pies came. Until one autumn, the wind changed. It began with the crows. Dozens of them circling above the forest, screaming like they were mourning. Then came the cold, beating cold. Frost in September. The leaves didn't fall. They blackened and clung to the branches like withered hands. And then, One night, the smell changed. It wasn't cinnamon anymore. It wasn't sweet. It was iron and rot and smoke. That's when the children started whispering again. Not about Baba Groza, but about the house in the woods. About the chimney that smoked without fire. About the sound of lullabies sung in reverse. And about the knocking. Always 3 times. Soft, like fingernails on wood. And boy Luca dared to follow the scent. He was never found. But a hunter, years later, said he, found a shoe nailed to a tree. Inside it, a tooth, still warm. Then, it stopped. The pies, the smell, the disappearances. Silence settled over the village like ash. No one spoke of her again. No one dared. The forest grew thicker, darker, hungrier. But still, some nights, when the moon is low and red, and the wind sounds too much like breathing, children wake from nightmares of red scarves and ovens that burn without flame. And if you ever wander too far into those woods, you might find a cottage. Old, dry, collapsed, empty, except for the oven, still warm, still glowing, and a tray of fresh pies waiting on the windowsill. They say if you eat one, never stop being hungry again. They say she's still watching, somewhere beneath the roots, waiting for a village that forgets. Because Grandmother Groza never really died. She just ran out of children.